Welcome on in. Let me check, make sure. Yep, we got sound. So thank you guys, everybody, for joining in tonight. Greatly appreciate for everybody that's here this evening. And once again, we're gonna get started off with the normal talk about what's happening in the hobby. Of course, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys hit that subscribe and make sure you join the channel. Hit that like button as you guys come on in too. Greatly appreciated. Here's we're starting off. We'll be 100% honest. A little bit off this last week, so just for people that might seem like I got bits and pieces of stuff is because my dad had open heart surgery and I've been a little bit busy with the business side of things, running the business. So he's home, everything's good. He's out of the woods with everything, so it's just going to be a little bit of a recovery. But in turn, I'm a little bit off the beaten path a little bit when it comes down to what's happening in the hobby. I've been seeing bits and pieces of it. Some of it's going to be maybe outdated information a little bit, but we will still talk about it because it is interesting, those kind of things that we've been having come through here in the last just couple of days. Of course, one of the big things that I did want to talk about when it comes down to a big change that's going to happen in Pokemon investing is, sounds like, now this is coming from an actual news thing from Pokemon Center itself, that they will now be cutting booster boxes out of the packs. I don't know how they're going to pull that off. I find that very interesting that that's going to be a thing. Is that Pokemon is going to start cutting the packs kind of like they do in Pokemon Center Japan. So if you buy them off of Pokemon Center, it sounds like their policy is going to be to ship booster boxes unsealed. So that's going to be interesting to see how they pull that off with it's not like the Japanese booster boxes where you can do that very easily unless they're changing the design of the booster boxes for futuristic sets here. So are we going to see a change in booster box design to go away? Because if you look at a booster box and they actually go through this policy, now I found it kind of weird that I saw that come through down the chain of things. But how do you cut the package off of this and send it unsealed? I mean, this is not going to stay together in a box. These packs are going to go all over a box, especially the way the Pokemon Center. Are they going to cut open cases and cut the cases too if we buy 6, if they're going to allow 6 for sales anymore? So, yeah, I think that that's going to be a very interesting policy coming from Pokemon Center right now. So, big change if you're looking at those investments, especially with the newest sets coming out, such as going in. Now, they weren't clear if this is going to happen on Journey Together. Is this going to be something they're starting with Team Rocket? We don't know on that part of things. That from what I could find, I've kind of dug down the rabbit hole a little bit on that one because when I heard it, it's kind of big news. I mean, it's kind of a big deal when you hear Pokemon Center starting to follow the tradition of what they were doing in Japan, where literally they were just cutting the plastic off of the booster boxes and shipping them. When you bought them at Pokemon Center, when they had their big boom, if you bought them at Pokemon Center Japan, they would cut the plastic off of the box and then you'd get an unsealed box. It was still sealed, so they would still. So for Japanese, it's easy. So if we take like Terrestrial Festival right off the shelf, and this is how most, even their other style booster boxes, I got a couple over, I'm not going to reach over for, but they're actually still sealed by this right here. So you do have a double seal system on the Pokemon Center Japan or Japanese product that we don't have on the English product. So there again, it's going to throw up some really interesting interesting dynamic. And from what I can tell, that's only through Pokemon Center United States or English. So if you're buying it from a distributor or from your stores or things like that, they're probably still going to be sealed. But that's going to be the new trend that they're talking about doing here in the coming up, and that's what they just announced here. I believe it came out on today. So today or Friday. Don't remember. I saw it here on today. So it's kind of an interesting piece of information when it comes Monday. Sorry, Monday. So, like I said, my brain is just all over the place. So I do apologize. I'm going to try and keep it together here for as long as I can with the circumstances right now. So I do apologize if it seems like I'm a little scatterbrained because typically I have things a little bit more lined up and I'm there, but I'm just not dialed in like I normally would. So I do apologize for any of that if I seem scatterbrained. But yeah, that's one of the things. Big change, big thing that's going to happen for when it comes down to what are we going to be doing for for your typical releases now. Is Pokemon Center going to be a viable source for your booster boxes? Is it going to be worth purchasing from Pokemon Center, or is it going to be detrimental to your overall investment? Well, of course, if they continue the same style booster boxes with no secondary seal on them and you remove the plastic from those particular boxes, it's going to become very, very difficult to hold that for an investment standpoint. Nobody is going to want to buy an open booster box of English product. I wouldn't do it because I would be too worried, especially with Scarlet and Violet. Scarlet and Violet is very weighable. It would be very easy for people to purchase them on Pokemon Center and go ahead and weigh out the good packs and sell the booster boxes unsealed. So I think that that's going to be very detrimental overall to that investment side of things. I don't understand it. I just don't understand how that's all going to work. So it's going to be really interesting to see how that all plays out and what occurs futuristically on that here. When which set this actually starts? Is it going to happen on Journey Together? Kind of unclear on that. Kind of unclear how they were going to roll that out, but we'll see. Next thing that I did want to talk about that I thought was a really big thing that did kind of break this week was the MJ Holding deal. So I'm pretty sure most people that are probably in the vesting community and in the Pokemon community have heard bits and pieces of this. This is where I might be missing some things just because I'm a little preoccupied with things to be really going into a deep dive. But I am going to tell you what my feelings are about this anyways, because maybe there's been an explanation for it. I have not seen it to date. If anybody has seen an explanation, please put it in the comments. I'd love to hear what MJ Holding or someone may have came up for a reason on how it isn't what it's showing to be. Is the fact that MJ Holding has a subsidiary selling company and they are literally getting product from wholesale or from Pokemon Center into MJ Holding, and they are selling it through a secondary company out onto like Walmart.com and Amazon.com at 3, 2, 3, 4 times markup of these particular products while leaving your store shelves completely bare. I can go to any of the places that even had Pokemon products in 2021 and they don't have Pokemon products. There is nothing out there right now, guys. And that's, to me, a huge issue. That if you're a wholesaler and you are making your own company, you have full access to product, and then you're selling that product at 3, 4 times markup of MSRP. To me, that's a very big issue. Now, is it illegal? That's the real question, or is it a break of contract? I don't know. Some people have made the claim out there that that would be a breach of contract with Pokemon if they were doing that. And I think that that is really up for Pokemon Center to decide and what their contracting actually says. The problem is that when Pokemon negotiates contracts with places like MJ Holding and Excel, they're going to be different than places like Southern Hobby and those kind of stores as well. Because MJ Holding and Excel have both been breaking things down and taking packs and making their own specialty packs even while distributing Pokemon products. So that's not something that is abnormal for them to resell products on their own at a marked up price based on what they would have paid for the packs. But the fact that they are now doing it as like an LGS style where they're almost making it sound like they are a warehouse or a sales house and then selling it at exuberant prices on not on Pokemon Center, but on Walmart and on Amazon have really drawn some red flags to the overall setup on that. And is that really ethical for them to be doing that and leaving the store shelves bare to the stores that they are selling online? And to me, I think there's an efficacy issue potentially on that, of course. The fact that that a company would actually forfeit their shelving to places that they're renting space from, and they are telling you how much money they're making because they rent that space from Walmart. They rent that spaces. They don't typically have that spot allocated for them without giving something for it, whether it's a percentage of the sales to Walmart or they actually own that section of shelf. That's a lot of things that sometimes people forget is that like most products on Walmart, they're stocked by Walmart and that Walmart runs those. Gift cards are kind of the same way. So you get that little four-sided gift card kiosk. That's kind of the same thing. That's actually another company that actually stocks those. Same thing with some of the electronic items, such as cell phones and tablets and things like that. That's actually owned by another company, and they just sell through Walmart. But there's very few instances in Walmart where this occurs. But right now, I know that a lot of places and Walmarts and stuff are getting a little bit frustrated. And this could be one of those things that could really boil up that frustration for Walmart, especially that they find out that MJ Holding is selling things online on Walmart.com under a different name and also on Amazon under a different name than MJ Holding and continuing to really leave their stores with empty shelves. Because Walmart, I can tell you right now from the managers I've talked about Walmart, nothing makes them more frustrated as to Walmart Corporation to a Walmart higher up than empty shelf space. That is a big no-no in their store. They understand some of the market situations, that sometimes product is just sold out with the current situations that are going on. But if they are selling product in a different form, on a different name, and Walmart finds that out, there could be some repercussions to MJ Holding for that fact as well, if that's actually connected completely. I know they share the same address. I don't know if anybody's actually fully connected the two, found congruent ownership, or how that's working. It's going to be really interesting to see how that continues to play out, as people like Rattle and also investigative people really start driving and digging into that, what that could actually do to MJ Holding as a primary sales company for Pokemon at Walmart and these other places. This might give another place an opportunity to potentially get a breakaway on it and maybe get a new contract with Walmart. Maybe we'll have the availability to get someone that can actually stock the shelves, because right now, what's really frustrating is that Targets are getting lots of stock, seem to be getting congruent stock. It gets taken fast, but they are getting stock. They are getting prismatic booster boxes or ETBs. They are getting prismatic product. My Walmart did not get any of the mystery boxes. They did not get any of the binder collections. They did not get any of the poster collections. They got one box of mini tins, and they got 2 ETBs, and they did not get anything. And that's a pretty congruent story that we are hearing. And it goes back to when I talked to that MJO Holding rep as well, how they were pretty adamant that they have received the same amount of product. Well, if they have been receiving the same amount of product as they have with Surging Sparks, as they have with every set since the beginning of Scarlet and Violet, why did that product not hit the shelf? Because I can tell you that there was a lot more of the product showing up on the shelves during those sets than it has ever in Prismatic Evolutions. We have not seen that even get shipped to individual stores, which is where, they're selling it out the back door. So instead of them selling it at Walmart for $55, they are selling it online through Walmart.com and through Amazon under the subsidiary name at the price of $110 or $120 to $140. And that's a big issue for Walmart as well. And if Walmart catches wind, it's going to be interesting to see how they handle the situation. So in some way, I kind of hope that MJ Holding gets caught on this. I hope that people can finally pin together and put together the full trajectory on this and actually completely pin it down. I have not had time to necessarily sit down and watch every video on it and get completely caught up, and maybe somebody has fully already done this and unraveled it and gotten to this point. But if it has, I really do hope the Walmart Corporation hears about this, and they could really be in trouble for MJ Holding if this is the fact that they are leaving Walmart shelves bare while selling product online. And I looked at all the recent products are still available from that company right now on Walmart.com and at Amazon.com. So if you look up that company, the other subsidiary name, and I don't remember it right off the top of my head, once again, I do apologize for that. I usually would have that. But the fact that they don't have, that they are stocked with Prismatic Evolutions ETBs from that site, but not have them on the shelves at Walmart, tells me that they are definitely playing the market for their benefit. And that's going to be a continuing issue as well when it comes down to, what does that mean for your Pokemon investment? Is that meaning that they're almost triggering the market a little bit as well? Because they have such a large volume of stock, they can almost manipulate that market. This is where you could actually have MJ Holding having market manipulation at this point as well. They could be driving the price up, because if they've got this much product and they're selling it through a secondary subsidiary market, not putting it on the shelf, they are creating a false market at this point in time and making market manipulation where they make it look like it's low product volume because they're not putting it on the Walmart shelves, but they are selling it on their website or on their web services to other individuals on these platforms. So once again, you're falsifying the market in a way. So that's where legality wise might be kind of the sticky situation as well, is that could be considered in a class action lawsuit as market manipulation. You cannot sit there and create a shell or a secondary company and use your primary company to manipulate the market looking like low stock. It'd be a lot to prove, and it would be very difficult to prove, but I do think that if they are doing it, it is a provable fact. And we could see some things come out of that if this is continue to go down the rabbit hole to find these things. And there are some very good investigative people out there right now that are probably digging hard and deep into this And it's only a matter of time, I think, at this point in time before that actually does start to break free and we do start to see some more information on how all of that will lay out. But really interesting news this week. Investment wise, Pokemon Center may not be a viable source any longer for your Pokemon products due to the fact that they are talking about their notice is that they're going to start removing the wrap off of the Pokemon Center products that you purchase. They said specifically booster boxes. We don't know if that's going to include booster boxes, ETBs, or other products, but currently, if you purchase stuff at PokemonCenter.com, you may have an issue where you will not be getting your product in without it being pre-opened. So it's going to be really interesting to see how that all rolls out and if they're going to change the boxes to be able to accommodate that. Because like I said, it's really easy to do it on Japanese. It really takes nothing to do that, and it really doesn't necessarily void the integrity of the box. And I think that that's a big difference between English and Japanese are the box designs have secondary features such as the rip tab on the front. Yes, you can work around it. Yes, you can do some things to get into the boxes without dealing with that. But in general, what we normally see is that the boxes are very much just sealed and they have the zip front on the front of it. So you have to rip that open in order to get into the packaging. So yeah, people I know, I'm looking at the Terrestrial Festival and I know that there was people that were showing that you could sit here and like unglue this seam down the side here to get in. But I mean, once again, no matter what you do, people are going to scalp. People are going to get into it. If there's a way, if there's a will, there's a way. And it's only a matter of time on any packaging products for people to find a way around inside of it. But in general, you got the pull tab in the front. You got the two wings and everything's kind of sealed up with the two wings that I rip off. And it keeps it sealed. So Japanese is a sealed product. It's very capable of doing that by removing the seal, the wrap on the outside of it, and still keep the integrity of the box still being sealed at that point in time. But I don't know how you do that in English products. ETBs even, I mean, they don't hold together. Once you pull the wrapping off them, they slide apart. So there's nothing holding an ETB together either once you remove that outside wrap. And then, of course, the MJ Holding, just to do a recap real quick, the MJ Holding situation is definitely going to be an unraveling thing that I think is going to be really interesting to see. Can the dots be completely connected? Can the community prove that MJ Holding and I think it's like BT Collectibles or something like that is going to be congruent with each other and that they're actually the same company and that MJ Holding is selling a large portion of their stuff to MJ Holding and it's causing this void in the market that they're actually falsifying the market at this point in time. It really does look like it. If you are making a shell company with the intention of shorting the market on one way to be able to sell at a huge markup, that could be very bad for your company in general. And leaving Walmart high and dry with no product and saying you don't have product, but then selling it as a subsidiary company can also be very bad at the end of the day. So it'll be really interesting to see how all this rolls out here in the near future. But other than that, like I said, guys, usually I'd have a little bit more. I do apologize. I'm just kind of, like I said, it's been a really long week with everything going on. So I've been trying to keep up with the market, trying to keep up with stuff. I'm a little scatterbrained. Like I said, I've been apologizing, and I probably should stop apologizing because, it is what it is. We work through it. That's life. We just got to keep moving. And I need to get caught up this week, so there's going to be a lot of time spent this week catching up on what's happening in the industry. And that's going to be really interesting to see how these two issues roll out and how they continue. Jimbo Slice, thank you so much for jumping in. Glad to see you here this evening. We got High FOMO, as always. Thank you for being here, bud. And we got Low Down Dirty 100. And Low Down Dirty 100 just said, I don't understand how the Pokemon Center is so dry of product for the last few months. Wouldn't it make sense for the official site to always have priority of product and restock almost daily? No. Pokemon Center, you got to look at how originally Pokemon Center English was not the main selling point. Pokemon Center was not the big focus of the sales groups for Pokemon. It's only been recently that that's kind of shifted, and even then they don't really shift it that way. Because if you watch, what typically happens is at some point in time, usually getting close to the end of rotation for these products. If they do have any left, they have a tendency to ship them out and close them down on Pokemon Center, while we'll get another grouping of product out on the market afterwards. So Pokemon Center has never really been the primary sales focus for Pokemon. It's typically been through the distributor, getting it to the LCSs where the gameplay is occurring. So that's been the typical chain of command. So them being sold out is actually pretty normal. And when we get reprints and restocks out on the field, we usually see it occur on Pokemon Center as well. And they're usually one of the first ones to sell out, typically. Not always. I mean, we got Battle Styles sitting in there. Some products still stay available for a long period of time on there, just based on their sellability. Silver Tempest sat on Pokemon Center for a really long time as well. So if I go on the Pokemon Center, is Temporal Forces still on there this week? I haven't even been on here this week to see. But Temporal Forces were on here before. I'm just taking a look here. So we'll go back to products here. So if I go to booster packs, booster boxes, no. So Temporal Forces is sold out again. It looks like currently everything is sold out on Pokemon Center. So officially, Pokemon is completely sold out of most of the products at this point in time. So it's not, there's nothing here at all. Yeah, I'm looking real quick because, like I said, I just haven't been on here much this week just because of other stuff. And I'm just trying to see. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing. So Pokemon Center is completely sold out and bare at this point in time. The distributors are getting bare again. I really can't get very much product from distributors, so I'm going to jump on the whole Southern Hobby here real quick. And I mean, I got nothing right now besides some tins. Looks like I can still get those Charizard EX boxes. The super premium collection boxes are still available. But realistically, that's all that we currently are having right now. But no, Pokemon Center is typically not their main driving point. That is not where Pokemon really focuses their sales. Their focus is typically through distributor, into stores, into LGSs. Now, they seem like they've been focusing more sales towards Pokemon in the last, since Sword and Shield, because they started doing like the Pokemon exclusive stuff, or Pokemon Center exclusive items, like the promo cards, the Da Vinci, unless you went to the museum. It was really the only place to get the Van Gogh stuff. And then, of course, the Pokemon Center exclusive ETBs. All of those are very specific to Pokemon Center, which seems to be drawing more attention and drive towards Pokemon Center. But that's been a more recent thing for Pokemon Center. That hasn't been the normal until like the last probably 3 years now. So that's kind of changing. Maybe they're changing their format and their idea, but right now, their main focus, as far as I know at this point in time, is still through the distribution system, getting it to Southern Hobby, getting the ACD, getting it to all these other distributors out there, and getting them to distribute the product. Now, the other problem that we're having with distributors in general as well is now they are charging MSRP for product as well. So I just got some Surging Sparks sleeve blisters, and they had some available. I talked to my distributor. I literally paid what I would buy them at Walmart for. So they're not even giving discounts right now. It's actually MSRP for most of the products through even the distributors at this point in time. So they're getting low on product. Everybody's running out of product in general. And I don't know what Pokemon Center's doing, or Pokemon's doing. Pokemon International, I have no idea what their plan is, what they're doing, why they're letting the stocks get so dry. I don't know if they're doing some major change in the formatting, in the distribution. Maybe they're changing the distribution. So these are all things that are just kind of interesting, and to me, it's getting very, very, very odd. The fact that we are still not seeing enough print, like for example, Journey Together. How did it sell out so fast, even on Pokemon Center? Is really an interesting aspect when it comes down to these products and how things are rolling out. So, Team Rocket scares me. The new Rocket set coming out is definitely a big concern when you ask me, because it's going to have a lot of hype and FOMO. It's going to be going crazy, and Pokemon just does not seem to care about the market at all. I don't know what they're focusing on. I don't know where they're actually looking at. Green Emoji Dude, thank you so much for stopping in. Tain't nothing on there. Yep, that's absolutely bare. I just kind of looked through all the tabs, and there's nothing. So, yeah, you can't even buy... I mean, I was looking. The only thing I can look like I can get on here is literally clothing. So they become a shopping center instead. So Elite Trainer boxes, I was kind of looking. Nothing sold. Nothing in Elite Trainer boxes. I've gone through tins. Box sets. There's some box sets still available. You can get the holiday calendar. The Terrapogus EX Ultra Premium Collection is still there. The Combined Powers Premium Collection is still there. The Paldean Adventures chest, which I don't know why you'd pay $50 for that, when you can literally go find these at Walmart right now for $35. If not, some places are down to $20 to try and get rid of that thing. And then the Armored EX Premium Collection. So that's the only boxes that are currently available on Pokemon Center. Theme decks, there's some theme decks available, so a lot of pre-built battle decks are available in Battle Academy. And then there is the Trainer's Toolbox. That's kind of an interesting one. Huh. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look into this one. So I don't know if anybody has seen it though. There is the Trainer's Toolbox available, the 2021 version, they say. So the 2021 version should have like Chilling Rain and stuff inside of it. So it is going to be kind of interesting. So I'll be purchasing a couple of those right now while I'm on the live, and we're going to see if they actually have that in there. So, but no, once again, just kind of a little interesting piece that if you guys are looking, they do have the 2021 Trainers Toolkits available up there right now. There's only 4 packs in it, but the packs might be worth the value, and I'm willing to take a shot at it for sure. So, yeah, there we go. We're gonna find out. We're gonna do her. We're gonna see what we can find there. So yeah, but that's the only thing on here that actually might have some value to it. Right there is gonna be the Trainer's Toolkit. But other than that, everything else is all just battle decks. So pre-made battle decks. So if you're into playing Pokemon TCG, there's a large amount of options for that right now as well, if you're looking at that part of it. And then, of course, they got all the apparel mats and things like that. So, yeah, that's pretty much what we got rolling around right now. Let's see. Lowdown Dirty 100. So how does Pokemon get out of this bottomless pit of being behind on product, in your opinion? They got to print. Plain and simple. I don't know why they're not. I think the bigger question is right now that someone should be digging into is why are they not printing? That to me is the bigger question that really should be answered, is what's stalling them from printing product? I mean, we shouldn't be having supply chain issues at this point in time. There was a theory back in Sword and Shield that the reason we weren't seeing any booster box reprints was because the material for the booster box or for the packs was not available, so they were not printing because of packs. They changed the pack style or the material in Scarlet and Violet, and once they kind of pick a material, they really don't change off of that. They usually stay pretty consistent on that material from then on, just to prevent from anybody knowing which print run they are, because Pokemon doesn't like giving away the print run. So it's an interesting fact too, is just kind of looking at why it's happening. I don't know. The only way to get out of it, though, this bottomless pit of nothingness, is literally to start printing, and I don't know why they're not. It's a very interesting conundrum. It's very, very frustrating. Number one, I see a lot of even bigger businesses like Danny Phantom. I'm seeing like PokeNE. I'm seeing, a lot of the bigger places now that do high volume sales are now starting to seem like they're getting very frustrated as well. The frustration continues to kind of roll down the hill, and I've even seen places even like Football Pete, just his prices have been ridiculous. So he's like trying to almost slow down sales in a way on a lot of his items as well. Football Pete always had fantastic pricing, and that fantastic pricing seems to be absolutely disappearing for him. So it's just interesting. We're seeing some more frustration. And I think unless we see a gigantic print of Journey Together with a monster reprint of like Prismatic Evolution, Surging Sparks, and all this other stuff, it is going to continue to be very frustrating in general. Green emoji. I like the Terrapogus box. Not a huge fan of the set, but compared to nothing, it's banging. Yeah, I mean, that's just it. There is some... So I don't mind the Terrapogus EX box. I think that it's decent. It's not horrible. It's not just Stellar Crown in it. So, I mean, that's why I think a lot of people sometimes get a little bit confused by that. It is a mixed set inside of there, I believe, because I think we've opened one of those. And there's Temporal, There's Paradox. There's Obsidian Flames. There's, all the Twilight Masquerade. All of that are inside of there. Do I think Terrapogus should have been on a premium collection box? Not really. I don't think that there's enough fanfare to justify that. The only people that are buying it, that are holding it as a collection piece, are people that are looking to have all the ultra premium collection boxes. But other than that, I don't think that it's a huge seller based on the artwork. Greninja was a better box from GameStop than the Terrapogus, in my opinion. Jimbo says, my glass half full theory is the Pokemon company doesn't want to kill the goose that laid the golden egg. They don't want to flood the market with any one particular set. I would think that you could say that. But on the other part is that if you don't allow people to find product for Pokemon, it's a double-edged sword. You could say that they're trying to keep the golden goose, so they're trying to keep the eggs coming out of the golden goose, but they're strangling the goose at the neck. And there's only so long that they can hold that goose's neck before they don't get any more eggs either. So, yeah, I understand their theory, and I understand they're trying, in a way, I could see where you're going with that. And that's been a theory, is that they're trying to keep the market value up because they might be doing another price increase coming up on Gen 10. Are they going to raise the price of Pokemon booster boxes? Are we going to see $199 booster boxes here? And they're almost preparing us for the market price to be that on the release of these products. So, I mean, we don't know. It's a really interesting system right now that we are really wondering what's going on and how is this occurring and where are we going to go, where it's going to continue to go. I just can't see Pokemon continue to do this for much longer and continue to keep a base of customers. And they have to remember that too, is that they have a base of customers that they have to keep up with and do that. So I don't know. It's a very frustrating and interesting setup right now. Jimbo did say better to sell out every set after the set and keep it going for decades. But that would work too. But the problem is that the playability of that set, you need to keep it rolling because people need to have availability to be at the playing deck cards. So when I'm seeing EX cards, just standard playable EXs, are starting to go up to like $20, $30, decks are becoming very, very expensive. And that's going to be a very big factor as well for the overall hobby. And for the playability, are we going to see a drop in players because of the product not being available? Cards become expensive, players start to drop out. Green Emoji do open one and can't remember what sets they were. Yeah, I opened one. It was like Stellar Crown, Twilight Masquerade, Temporal Forces, Paradox Rift, and I want to say there was some maybe Obsidian Flame or Paldea Evolve. I'm not 100% sure. Piker Mike, thank you so much for being here. If I didn't say that already, but thank you so much for stopping in this evening. Think about it. There has never been a set that didn't sell out eventually, irregardless of how much they printed of it. Exactly. I mean, even Battle Style sold out, and that thing was printed to death. Evolving Skies, XY Evolutions, Roaring Skies, all of them have sold out. It's just a matter of time. There's still always enough drive to get those sets out, and I think you're onto something. I mean, it always sells out. And if they were to print another huge round of each one of these, it would be gone, I think, before the market would even realize that it was really out there at this point in time. I FOMO Pokemon, you mad genius. Yeah. Turtle Box has the weird 3 card holder thing in it. Yeah, it does. That I didn't like either. So if you go into it, yeah, it's got that weird 3 holder. It comes with the 3 cards. It's got the Lapras, the Cinderace, and is it a Terrapogus? That's what I was trying to remember. If it was a Terrapogus card, yeah. So there's Terrapogus card, the gold Lapras, the gold Cinderace, and then the weird holder deck box, and then of course all the fun stuff with the matte deck box and the coin, the specialty coin inside of it. So yeah, the set cards, I think the sets might be a little different depending on what run of the box it was. They do kind of switch them up sometimes. Jimbo says it took Battle Styles like 3 to 4 years. They don't want that situation again. Battle Styles was a very interesting situation, though. The amount of print that there was on Battle Styles is absolutely insane compared to any other set that was out there. So they did that to themselves in a way to kind of teach people a lesson to not order more than you can take. So that was kind of during 2021 they were trying to do that intentionally. So is that going to happen again with another? Are they going to do something like battle styles again? I don't think so. I don't think that that's going to be something they're going to look at doing. But it was a situational thing, I think, more on battle styles, just because there was a playing mechanic. It became hard to get because of the low print run. Everybody was fighting for it. $180 booster boxes on release. And then a month later or a month and a half later, right before Chilling Reign, they did that print to order and just buried it battle styles. And it never recovered. Because Chilling Reign became a better set than Evolving Skies. 1 month after Chilling Reign, Evolving Skies happened, and the whole thing was off at that point in time. Piker Mike, doesn't really matter to them. Those are going to be worth a lot in a few years. Probably. They like to throw them at you quick so you can condense some newer. Yeah. Piker Mike, pick any set you think is not a good set. If they reprint that set now, it would sell out in days. Yes, it would. I don't think that there's a single set right now in Scarlet and Violet that they could reprint that would not sell out in literal days or at least within a week. I mean, they would have to literally print it to absolute death, just completely beat it to death. And I just don't think that that's going to be possible. So is the play just by Scarlet and Violet sets now, Paradox, Twilight, or Temporal, and Twilight. And if they reprint, the price drops, it will be a very small drop. So PSA regretting changing their grading standards. It could be. But Gimbo, just on the reprint side of things, I think the play is to just kind of hold tight and wait for reprints. Temporal just went through a reprint, so if you were looking at sets right now, let's go pull open Temporal, because like I said, I haven't been watching it this week. So Temporal just got more stock available. It went through a reprint, and so we did have some of that come on the market. Like I said, it did show up at our distributors, but we had to buy stupid things to get it. So I know it actually hung around distributors quite a bit. Yeah, literally the blip was like, it went down $5. So there again, we had a reprint of Temporal Forces come through, and it literally blipped the market for $5. Yeah. So once again, I don't think there's much that you're going to do with any of this stuff. Temporal's gone already, iFOMO. It was up on Pokemon Center, I think, for about 2 days. And it was only available through distributor if you bought like other products, other junk products to get it. So I'm sure there's some bigger places that bought the junk product to get that, but I did not, because you had to buy, I want to say it was like 2 or 3 cases of the Battle Academy in order to get those. Distributors, aka Pokemafia, pretty much. We see. So is PSA regretting changing their grading standards? So many nines. I don't think this idea was smart. Yeah, supposedly they've been running on that standard for a long period of time. That's their claim, is that they just posted it and that they've been running on that. I haven't seen a big difference. Honestly, I have not seen a big difference on my end for grading, just because I still seem to be getting a lot of 10s out, but I'm very, very finicky on my graded cards. So I will throw a lot of cards away just because I'm specifically looking for a 10. So if I'm even questioning it, I'm kind of pulling it out, which is why I have literal stacks of like Illustrator rares and cards that I'm just kind of kicking off to the side, because I just don't. There's probably a 50-50 chance, and I don't like the odds of a 50-50. But I mean, I got some here that we're going to be sending out, and once again, centering, I've got to have that centering just about perfect for me to be very picky. I'm very, very picky on the centering, the very, everything, every edge. I do the PK trick on them where I put them inside of the holders and I do the corner, kind of massage the corners down, making sure. That's made a huge difference for when I was usually right around, you know, I'd send in, let's just say 10. 2 out of every 10 would be a 9, just because now it's down to maybe 1 out of 10 has gone to a 9 just by doing that. So that's a pretty substantial increase just by massaging those corners. PK talked about that in one of his lives, and I kind of did that already, but I was always afraid of going too far with it, and I kind of let myself go a little bit more with it, and it's made a huge difference by pushing that a little bit. So, you know, it's just little tricks like that. Make sure you use a lint-free cloth and get rid of all the dust. Make sure all the edges don't have any dirt, because there's one guy this actually was going to GameStop, and he was getting kind of frustrated with me because I'm always getting 10s back from GameStop, and he's getting 9s, and he's like, "Well, why are you always getting 10s?" And when his cards were well centered, but he had them edge rolls, he had, you know, a little bit of a little chip and a little piece of dust on the edge. You could see there's a little white spot. Now, I don't think it was actually on the card, but it was because of the fact that he didn't take the time to clean the cards. PSA is not going to clean a card for you. They're not going to sit there and make sure that all the white spots and dust are off of that card. If they're on the card and you send it and they pull it out and it sticks to that card, they're going to grade it as if it's an issue. And that's a big factor when you're sitting there grading as well. Taking the time, cleaning stuff, and making sure it's right. Massage the corners, get rid of them like them little burrs sometimes on the edges. Flatten them out will make big differences on getting a 9 to a 10. Let's see. Green emoji dude, I just happened to run out of money when everyone ran out of cards. My last booster box case was Temporal Forces. Strange, luckily enough. Yeah, it's not a bad spot. iFOMO, so it's fair to say every reprint will get swallowed until demand is satisfied. Yes, that's going to be pretty safe to say that. Piker Mike, tag is the way to go now, in my opinion. It's going to be interesting. Tag's got their issue with them slabs coming apart. Now, good thing is I haven't seen very many people get them apart clean. I did talk about that last week, that I had a friend that was using Tag, and he says it's not all of them. So it's not like you can, like all the slabs are weak. It's only a couple slabs. But yeah, Tag seems like it's a fairly decent company. And it's going to be interesting to see if they can continue to hold up and do well here in the market currently. Let's see. I'm going to go back up to the top here. Piker Mike, if you are a collector, this is the time to buy singles and wait this bull market out. I wouldn't be buying singles either, because some of those are all pretty well hold up quite a bit. Danny, they do try and remove dust, but they will not like scratch at the card. So if you've got something, I just had one. I don't know if I have any of them right now. If you've got what I always call those little hangers, so where you look on the edge and there's like a little hang. I haven't gone through and cleaned all these, but some of these are Japanese, so it's bad. Japanese are a bad example. Look for those little hangers. But if they get a little white speck on them, they will blow them off. So they got a little gun and they kind of blow over them. So if the dust blows off, you're fine. If there's like a little piece on the corner that's like a cut that you could just literally take your finger and pick it off, they won't pick it off. They won't. They'll leave it there. Let's see. Going down, I'm just trying to get caught up. OP and Japanese for me right now. PSA, force my hand. I'm doing a lot of Japanese now. Japanese is kind of fun because if you do sell in a Japanese market, you'll actually get better sales than the English market, almost double sales on especially like PSA 10s in the Japanese market right now. So if you want to, I should probably do a video on that at some point and look at that, because there's actually some really good options to create an IP here and then be able to sell in Japanese market. And Japanese market for like graded cards is huge. You can get into that market and they'll pay for the shipping and everything to get those cards there, because they don't have PSA. It's not as easy for them to get them. They can, but PSA takes a lot longer for Japanese to get them. I feel that I'm always bitch about US. Yep. Piker Mike, have you noticed the quality of Japanese cards is getting worse? It is. Japanese cards are worse. They're not a guaranteed good grade any longer. You know, before they were very, very easy to get good grades. You still now have to clean and go through them a lot heavier than you used to. Let's see. Rogue Special and Scarlet and Violet. Hope these reprints fix that. Yeah, there's a lot of bad Scarlet and Violet cards right now. I got a pile of Scarlet and Violet Illustrator rares that are just absolute junk. Marks, machine mark, drag marks on the bottom, nicks on the top corner, right above like the Pokemon's names. It's pretty consistent on all of them. So whatever it is, it's definitely a machine issue that's going on. Oh, you guys are just cruising. Let's see, Piker Mike. I didn't know that. Thanks for letting me know. I have seen Japanese slipping a bit. I bitched about it myself. Yes, it is slipping a little bit. We're seeing a lot. You have to be cautious with Japanese. So if you pulled like a Japanese secret rare or an art rare or anything like that, you can almost always just send it. You knew it was going to do really well. Just do a quick little clean down of the corners, make sure you didn't leave any fingerprints, and then ship it. And you'd almost get a 10 on it most of the time. That's not the case any longer. You have to check the centering. You have to go through them and do a little bit more work with them and just pre-grade them a little bit harder than you used to. How would now would be the perfect time to look up cheap XY Japanese singles? Yes, it would. So even Scarlet Valley Japanese Center is flawed. Amazing. You've gone through Danny. I'm looking at AGS, easier than PSA if it's profitable. Right now, AGS is not as profitable as PSA. You're going to lose about 20% on the value of the cards. That's the catch. Even a perfect 10 in AGS is not going to fetch you as much as a PSA 10. You're going to go backwards a little bit on that. And AGS is a lot more pickier on the 10s. So, yeah, it's a little bit harder. Not extremely hard. I don't want to say it's as hard as a PSA to get a 10. It's probably equivalent, but they do grade a little bit harder on the AGS because the computer does pick up all those defects that sometimes are missed. Corruption mod. I still find singles are still reasonable. Some, yeah. I mean, I'm still picking up singles. It's a good market to get into. So I've been going to local card shops, going to different places, buying some singles when I get them, because they're still, if you can take the time inside the shop, a lot of times go to the store owner. And if you go to the store owner and kind of tell them, hey, I'm looking for gradable cards, they'll tell you, well, we picked through them. There's no good gradable cards here. At least most of the store owners are pretty honest about that. That don't that way you don't waste your time. And so like the last time I went to a store, I just went to one and I said, hey, I'm looking for some decent gradable cards. Do you have any Pokemon cards? They said anything in the case has been picked through. There's not going to be anything that's probably going to be a 10. It's all going to be 9 or worse. But if you are looking for that, here's some. He brought over. He said, here's some boxes that I have not gone through yet. If you'd like to go through them and find some, then yeah, there'll be some definitely opportunities inside of here just if you want to pick and choose. So be careful when you're going into card shops too. Always ask them and tell them what you're doing. If you're looking for graded cards, a lot of them will help you. That way you're not wasting your time. Because if they've already pre-graded and gone through them pretty heavy to try and find gradable ones, then it's not worth sitting there going over that. At least here. I still find single. They're not, like I said, they're not bad. I mean, Canada's probably different than a little bit different. Singles are crashing a little bit. I've seen some correction on some of the singles that just didn't make sense why they were so high. But on the other hand, a lot of them are doing extremely well. Also, they are still moving up fairly clean. We're seeing some crashes in like Prismatic and Surging Sparks a little bit, but the older sets are moving up. I mean, the Charizards and all that are going up in value quite quickly comparatively to, a lot of other, the newer, it's just like anything. Newer sets are going to continue to get product in it, so they kind of correct. The older sets are now kind of getting stagnant on their pricing, and they're starting to kind of move the other direction. So like the gold Pikachu has been on just a steady decline. It went up to like $110, $130 raw, and then now it's all the way down to $100. So we are starting to see some retraction on some of those newer sets, but how short is that going to be? We could see it go the other way as well when we are not getting any products still. So it could be an up and down yet. Let's see. iFOMO, what PSA is throwing a lot of? PSA 8s. It seems white dots equate to an 8. Yep, they do that. Do not leave the white dots on your thing. That'll get you an 8. Piker Mike, there are a ton of Canadian single sites to choose from. I've never had issues with quality. Well, that's good to know. Tariffs are yeah. No tariffs yet. Not on our Pokemon cards. Keep the tariffs off the Pokemon cards. Even if they have tariffs, I would pay them. Canada have the good stuff. Has the good stuff. Now you mentioned it. I bought a bunch of Urshifus recently from a Canadian company. Good experience. Well, that's good to know. Pokenufo, how you doing, bud? I have a Lugia V Alt, super clean, but on the front bottom right around the V area, black area that has some small dots that look like glitter. Unsure if the black ink came off. PSA 10. Ooh, glitter dot error. Is that an actual error? I have no idea. Because let me look. Because I have two of them, and I don't remember seeing that at all. One of my Lugias got damaged at PSA, which was not impressed. No, mine are solid. So yeah, you must have some kind of issue with the ink coming off, and I don't know. I don't know what that would do to the value of the card, or if it's the grading, because I've heard mixed results too on like the jungle cards. A lot of hollow jungle cards you can see around the edges, like so. I've got two of them here. And a perfect example, I've got this Gengar and I've got this Raichu that I was considering grading. Some people say that they'll grade okay, but if you look, and I know I'll never be able to do it on the screen, but if you look around the whole edge of the card, you can see the hollow like on the edge of the card. Like it sparkles all the way around, evenly around the whole edge of the card. And I know that was an issue with jungle cards. And apparently, some people say that they'll grade fine with that, and other people say that will automatically deduct it. I don't know, and I have been afraid to send them. I just don't really want to send them and get them back as like an 8 or a 7 because the fact that glitters, that hollow showing around the edge. So let me know in the comments if you guys have ever had success sending a jungle hollow to PSA and getting a decent grade with that glitter, like that edge. And it's a manufacturing issue. That's how they were produced. It's not like it was something that was, done from wear or anything. It's just strictly from the fact that it is a cutting. It was when it was cut. Like I said, jungle was cut with a chainsaw, and these cards do show some of that. So let me know. Let me know if you've had any luck doing that. But it is it is kind of interesting to see if it would work. But I just haven't had the guts to go and do it myself. Buying from Rip and Shippers. iFOMO, I had one of those. Thought it would be a 9, and it 10'd. Very nice. Lowdown Dirty 100. I just looked through my Paldea Evolve Master Set for possible 10s. And no joke, I found 2 cards I feel confident in being a 10 contender. Well, that's good. I mean, there are some out there. I'm not going to say it's impossible. The Ninetales, so for example, Obsidian Flames Ninetales, there is a very, very expensive 10. Actually, if you look at that set, so I'll pull it up. I'll give you the exact number right now for that one on a PSA 10. And it's a $24 card. And it's a PSA 10. It's sitting at about $266 right now, along with the Cleffa is going to be at $275. And the Caesar is another one. $216. The Houndor is $226. And the funny thing about each one of those cards, I have probably 8 of the Ninetales, 7 of the Cleffas, a bunch of the Caesars. These are not like they're uncommon cards. They all have damage on the edges, top edges, or they have drag marks on the back, like machinery, like when they went through the machine, they got drug. I can't send any of them. I have a pile of them, and I can't send any of them that'll get a 10. They're all going to come back at 9s. If at best, they're going to come back at 9s. They might come back as 8s because of the fact that they've got scrapes and stuff on the back. And if you go and get it as a 9, it's $42. And there's like 3 times as many 9s on like the Ninetail than there is 10s. So it is an extremely hard card to get a 10 in. And that's why you're seeing some of the value of these 10s go up so much. Is if you can get a 10, it's going to be very, very difficult to pull off. Piker Mike, I only buy from eBay, TCG player, or private sales on Insta. Just singles, no packs. Piker Mike says, I still find a ton of Sword and Shield alternate arts or full arts and alternate arts at really cheap prices. There's some really good places to find those. If you know the places to look for them. Even here in the United States, it's not that hard. Green emoji dude, it will be interesting to see if summer is dead as usual. I don't know. We're coming into that time of the year where we would be normally seeing that slowdown. Usually, as the weather gets nice here in the northern hemisphere and we're getting into these nicer temperatures, it's definitely potential we could see a slowdown. But if we continue to be crazy, rocket set coming here in the near future, here right before summer, it's really going to be interesting to see how this holds out and where we go. Let me see. iFOMO says probably people seem eager to spend their tax returns. Yes, there's a lot of money moving right now for tax returns for sure. iFOMO, doesn't CGC dismiss that? I don't know. I don't know if they look past that or not. Piker Mike says, I don't trust the carrier to send my first edition OG cards to grade. LOL. I don't either. I mean, these are just limited. They're not first edition, so I'm a little bit more willing to send those. But I would not be sending like a first edition card that was in good shape in the carrier. So I would have a real hard time doing that myself, just because I know how USPS has been on shipping, and it's like they lose stuff all the time, and it just blows your mind on how did they even lose that product. So all right, guys. Normally I would try and push on, but with the week that I've had this week, I am going to call it for this evening. We've been here for an hour, so it's appreciated for everybody that's joined in and partaken. Once again, great conversation. Let me know if you do watch this later or in the chat now. Would you think that a jungle card with the little bit of a hollow edge? Have you ever seen or had success sending that to grading and getting them to grade a 10, or with that hollow showing around the edge of a jungle card, will it automatically deduct the grade on there? Antonio, Magikarp is worth a lot because it's hard to grade. It's another one. There's always a damaged or off center, Antonio. I've had probably 10 Magikarps go through my hands in the last year and a half, and all of them are not graded. They were not gradable. None of them. All 10 of them were, or 8 to 10 of them were all ungradable. They were either way off center, they had damage. So if you look at a lot of the cards from that era, right above where, like this, where it says the Billy Bolt here, there will be a ding right there on a majority of the cards. If I were to go through my ungradable card, I got this pack that I've been working through this next layer, looking for ungradable cards. It's like on a ton. If I can get through, these are all the trainer gallery ones. Yeah, these were working through trainer gallery cards, trying to find decent ones, but same thing. Trainer gallery cards can be kind of hit or miss. Now these are all trainer gallery ones, but if I go on the other pile over there and go through them, they all have these little dings right above the name. So right above the name, they have a little bit of a ding, and of course that's automatically going to probably get an 8 at best. Piker Mike, waiting for a show with a grading booth, and am fine paying the premium to be safe. Yeah, that would be a good way to do it. I know Collecticon North Carolina had a PSA booth there, so they do show up, and they are fun. They are nice to have if you do have those expensive cards where they'll just grade them live right there, where you don't have to deal with the mail carrier for sure. Definitely, I would be more interested in that than actually shipping and everything else that goes with it. So, all right, guys. Well, thank you everybody for joining. Once again, greatly appreciated. I'm going to put this quick little reminder in there. Hit the like button, number 1 on the video if you're still here and in the live. Number 2, consider joining the subscription or membership to the channel, where I'm trying to get 30 people for the year. That's kind of my goal, for me to be able to get 1 cup of coffee for every day at work. So that's kind of my goal this year. And of course, join the emoji club, have some fun, get some cool emojis here, and support the channel here every single month. Be greatly appreciated. Otherwise, thank you everybody for joining us here this evening. And I will be back next Tuesday at 9 p.m. Central Time, as always, and we will continue to talk about what's happening in the market. I'm going to dig in a little bit more into what I was talking about earlier with the Number one, how are they doing the removing the seal off of the booster boxes from Pokemon Center? That's a real question that we have. And number two, the other question I really want to get into is the subsidiary of MJ Holding. Who's, if anybody's dug into that more, what we're seeing on that and what we're actually looking at. So, well, good chat, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Remember, hit that like button on your way out. Be greatly appreciated to get the video rocking and rolling. And otherwise, thank you, everybody, for joining us here on this lovely Tuesday. Hopefully, you guys have a fantastic rest of the week. And once again, hopefully, you guys are recovering from daylight savings time. It's always kind of a beast trying to get through this spring ahead, but we'll get through it and we'll move forward and we'll keep going. Once again, thank you, everybody, once again, for joining us, and we will see you next time.